Today we're in Carrollton, Texas, a community whose business sector has been booming over the last several years. And as the suburb has continued to grow, so have its retail establishments, restaurants, and breweries. And with that comes new business challenges, like cash management. Well, as it turns out, Carrollton has had its own cash management solution in its own backyard for decades. In the 1970s, the Southland Corporation implemented the first modern cash management system. Much has changed in that time, but the commitment to the goal is the same: to help businesses around the world with their cash management solutions. Today, we're exploring how Tidel has transformed the way businesses deal with their dollars and cents. We're hitting the road in search of America's most interesting companies to answer one question: why are you proud to be made in America? So David, you've been based in Carrollton, Texas for a long time now, and this facility really helps show the growth and the development of Tidel as a company.
Absolutely. The room we're standing in is what we call our Customer Experience Center. And it's a room that houses all of our solutions for cash management that we sell today. So it's very inviting. I mean, we've got our equipment here. We love to have our customers come in and we give them demonstrations of the equipment. But as importantly, we also have the ability in this room to do webinars. The AV equipment that we've invested in, our clients really appreciate that because they don't actually have to leave their office and see our equipment. So we can demonstrate all of our solutions over the internet.
Wow, that's
very
incredible.
Popular. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys spun off from 7-Eleven in 1992, right?
We did.
Just to become Tidel. And so this room kind of, to me, represents that next step in just the evolution of the company as you've continued to grow, expanded space, and now a room like this that shows off your products.
Our products have certainly expanded over the years.
Yeah.
And even in the last 5 years, we've gotten into new product categories such as cash recycling. So we have evolved as a company, and it's really all about understanding the different use cases of cash management. And we've created solutions to address, I believe, a multitude of needs. And we enjoy the broadest portfolio of solutions in the market today.
So before you send out any of your products or anything like that to clients, to customers, you guys like to do a test of those products, and
Absolutely.
You call it an audit.
Absolutely. So everything that goes out the door is 100% QA tested, right? And then we have checklists for that. But once a week, we actually pull a product that's been through all those processes off our shelf and then audit that. It's kind of a secondary audit. It's more about the customer experience.
Well, it's almost time for that audit, so why don't we head that way and go check it out?
Okay, let's do it.
So this is the audit process, right? Walk us through what happens here.
So every week at this time, same time, we actually pull a unit that's destined for a customer and we open it up. And we just basically check everything relative to this unit and its operability, looking at documentation, just to make sure everything that we said it would do and said it would contain is there.
Awesome.
So it's just simply a out-of-box audit, and we check everything, and then we have a checklist that we run it through. We do this every week.
All right, well, let's open the box.
All right, let's open it up. You'll see it's wrapped, right? And we wrap everything in that clear plastic, and we're making sure that's in place. So we, our packaging, we design our packaging around our product too.
Right.
And so we make sure that there's no movement or damage when it gets transported. So kind of a first look flyer.
Yeah, making sure that people handle the product correctly.
He's going to use this equipment to hoist it out of the box. So it can hoist 250 pounds is the rated load.
So now there's a spot for him to plug it in so you can kind of test all the different operations.
Absolutely. We'll plug it in. We've got different groups here from product management, marketing, technical support. And so we just go through a standard procedure, just like, a customer just opened that. So we're going to run it through what they would normally do.
Yeah.
And we want to just ensure that everything is in place, because if anything's missing, then we have to, address that.
And again, one of the big things that you're known for and that you want to maintain is that quality aspect. So just doing a random spot check means that, you are always ensuring that what you're sending out the door has that Tidel level of quality that you're
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
We're here in the manufacturing facility, and I wanted to start off just by asking how Tidel's commitment to quality is really seen in the manufacturing process.
Well, I mean, the best way, I guess, to summarize it would be we're an ISO 9001 registered manufacturing facility. So that means everything we do is dictated by a written process, so that it's scalable, repeatable, consistent, and it gives us the best chance possible of making the best product possible. We have a demonstrated lower failure rate from quality rejects and failures is concerned, and it also allows us to be more cost competitive because we don't have scrap and reject and warranty expense, that sort of thing. So really it's ingrained into all the people who work in the manufacturing group out here is that, hey, if we're going to make the best product possible, we have to make sure we do it right the first time.
How is the quality of Tidel really exemplified in the manufacturing process?
Well, we do a lot of different things here with quality in mind. We're an ISO 9000 registered facility. We do everything here as far as procurement of all of the component parts, the safes, the bill validators, power supplies, cables. It's all designed here, all developed by our own people. So we really control the development of the product from start to finish through the assembly process. It's what differentiates us in the marketplace with all of our competitors. In this side of the building, we really focused on our SmartSafe product line. So an emerging piece of our business is a brand new market for us, and it's more focused towards big box retailers, large grocery store chains, someone who has a cash office with multiple points of sale, cash registers out across their retail floor, as opposed to the SmartSafe platforms typically sit under the register at the point of sale. So as we move into this new technology, cash recycling, it's a little bigger format than our smart safes. It's something that we're really just starting to take off with, but it has to be built differently. It's about the size of like a refrigerator or a large appliance. So instead of having the unit be on a gravity-fed conveyor, we actually build the unit in place because it's so large. What we have here is sort of our flexible manufacturing space. In contrast to what you saw on the other side with the conveyors, we have a few conveyors over here for some of our more involved assembly processes on the SmartSafe side. But really it's flexible in that it's an open floor area where we can build some of our larger format cash recycling products. But the processes are still the same at their core. We're still building sub-assemblies, we're still QCing all those, the same quality focus, and measure all the same sort of metrics and apply the same processes and procedures that we do everywhere else in the business.
So process still the same, still that same commitment to excellence, just a little bit different in how it looks because of the size of these machines.
Exactly.
We're over in the brand new 3D printing area. Tell me a little bit about what you're able to do with these products now that you weren't able to do before.
Well, this is a brand new investment for us as a company, and it's something that in the safe industry in general, we didn't have a lot of focus on sort of the aesthetics of the part. It was a very utilitarian product. As we've sort of grown the product, we want the ability to make it look nice, to also introduce some added functionality. And with those desires come the need for some unique engineering solutions. Sometimes that's a plastic part. So what we have here is a solution to making plastic parts that doesn't require a mold. What we have here is an HP system that basically has powdered plastic that lays down like 1/1000th of an inch layers of powdered plastic, a print head with a activator and a light source that sort of solidifies the part, kind of passes over the layer of plastic that got laid down, and it just sort of repeats this process that you can theoretically print a 3D plastic part.
Wow.
So this is an example of just the complexity of a part that we print on the actual machine. We could probably print 25 of these in one overnight run, have the part the next day, assemble it onto a unit, see if it works. If it doesn't work, we could tweak the design, print more the next day, and it doesn't cost anything other than the plastic powder.
We've learned a lot about the diligence and quality Tidel puts into their products today. But we wanted to explore how this company got started in the most unlikely of ways. So we went to Sierra Vista, Arizona to talk to a relative of one of the co-founders.
The Tidel company first came to be a man named Gene Papp, who was an independent grocer associate, IGA owner in Seattle. That man was burdened by lots of robberies. The area that he had the grocery store was a very high crime rate area, or had turned so. As a result, he decided that I have to do something to survive. And I remember in 1968, in the basement of the grocery store, Gene Papp and my stepfather, Dick Crow, worked on a wooden mock-up of the Tidel cash controller. As time went on and I graduated from high school, I decided that I could go out and sell these things. And as a result, I took a lot of training and I started hitting the street at 19 years of age. And I sold the very first one to a 7-Eleven store in Capitol Hill in downtown Seattle. First of all, cash registers and the handling of money in retail outlets had been the same pretty much for several decades. They weren't fully automated at that time. They were starting to get that way. However, the thing about robberies is that they're quick, they happen fast, and they grab the cash and go. The idea that Gene Papp had about the time delay feature was that he wanted something where he could keep putting the money away so that it wasn't accessible. So when the robbers came in, they wouldn't get a lot of money. We wanted to reduce the exposure of cash to robberies, but we also wanted to have the availability of providing change. So it really was an innovative thought for the time.
So with over 40 years now of company history, much of that based right here in Carrollton, Texas, what's the advantage and what's the upside for the company to stay here and stay planted in this particular area?
Well, we're on our third facility as a company, and all three of them were in Carrollton. So our first facility was on the edge of Carrollton and Dallas. There was a Southland 7-Eleven owned facility when we were part of them back in the 70s and 80s. When we became our own company, we moved to another building here in Carrollton that was probably 2 miles from our current facility.
Okay.
And we're there for several years, and we've been here since 2006 now. It lends itself to a great centralized location for our talent pool.
Sure.
So we've got a mixture of technical folks, engineers, our hourly workers.
Incredible.
So we take a lot of pride in the tenure of our employee base, and we want to do everything we can to keep them happy and not force them into an uncomfortable situation where, gee, I have to drive another 10 or 15 miles.
I'd like to ask just how you feel like you've seen the company take on the identity of the location where it's based. How has Tidel really reflected the North Texas area in your mind?
You kind of become what your people are.
Yeah.
So we have a very diverse workforce, and it really it's kind of like a little mini melting pot for a relatively small company with
Sure.
200 people. We've sort of grown and become sort of what we've become over all of these years in different facilities and adding on different people, and it just sort of it just feels like home here for everyone.
I think it's clear that the future of cash management is safe with Tidel. And on that note, we're going to take the train back to Dallas.